Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here and we're back at it, and we're going to get right on into it. But before we do, as always, make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, and I'm never going to know, but you do, and I trust you. Now let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hey, we're Titans of Industry. I'm Scott.
My name's JJ.
I'm Mitch.
Hello.
What's
Hello.
up?
Hey, thank y'all so much for joining us.
Of course, man.
First official band interview. I'm so excited about this.
Hell yeah, we're excited for you,
Us
dude.
too.
Aw, thank you.
Hell
thank
yeah.
you. Now, why don't you go ahead and just, give us that introduction. Tell us, where you're from, what you do. Give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Awesome. Titans is a project that stems back over 10 years. I came up with the band originally in concept when I was in high school. And then me and Jay moved up here when we were 21 to Oregon. And we found Mitch within 6 months. And we've been going in this arrangement ever since. But this has been a rock and roll dream of mine since I was like 14. And this band showed up for me as an idea when I was 17. And we've been going ever since.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And how'd y'all meet?
Oh, man. Well, me and Jay met in elementary school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, well, okay, I remember more than he does apparently. Yeah, no, but
That's how long we known each other?
Yeah, well, you were popular because you were on Kids Bop.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, Jay's got a deep history in the entertainment business.
Yeah,
Time
fool's
out.
good at it.
Time out. Before we get too crazy.
Yeah, so I brought that up in like 3 seconds.
I was
yeah.
on a Kids Bop commercial. I was not in
okay.
Kids Bop.
Oh, okay.
I was misinformed. All right,
okay.
we got it. But Jay was on TV as an 11-year-old, and so we all knew who he was in elementary school.
Gotcha.
But we started hanging out in high school, and then we started playing music in the 10th grade.
Hell
so
yeah.
We've been going for 13 years, you and me.
Yeah, probably.
And then Mitch, we were 21. I don't know how old you were, but I we moved up
Like
here
some time ago.
and we did our first we went out the first night we were in town, and we ended up at a house show. It was just like back in the day in Portland, that was classic. Sadly, it's not quite the same now, but that was everywhere at the time. And we were standing outside, and some guy, I just heard him say, I need a guitar player. And I was like, literally like 72 hours into Portland, I just whipped around and I was like, I'm a guitar player.
Yeah.
And that was a band called Lousy Bends. And I ended up in the band. And the bass player for that band was Harry, who's our roommate, who you met earlier.
Shout out Harry.
Yeah, and
Shout out
at
Harry.
the time,
Rodo.
Jay, Harry is awesome, by the way. We love Harry. Jay and me had moved up here at the time, and we were playing in a reggae band, and we needed a bass player, and Mitch was a huge reggae guy. And still is, but was exclusively basically playing reggae at that time.
Gotcha.
And so that's how it happened. And weirdly, we were all kind of in other bands with each other on and off for a couple years, and then it sort of settled into Titans.
Okay. Cool. Hell yeah. Now, the instruments that y'all play as primary instruments, are those like the main ones y'all started on?
Oh,
For me, yeah, guitar for sure.
Yeah, not me. I've been playing clarinet since I was 10, actually.
Ah.
Yeah, and all my, first learning how to play music and learn how to read music, that was all on clarinet. And I didn't pick up bass till about maybe 8 years ago.
Okay.
Which was already 12 years into me playing music.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you ever bring the clarinet out?
Not in this project, but I play it all the time still.
Hell yeah. I love that. And you as a drummer?
Yeah, no, drums, for sure the first and only it's been. I tell people this, and then it's a mixed review. They're like, "Oh, that's dope," or they're like, "That's crazy." But I actually learned to play drums from Rock Band. I literally fell in love with playing the Rock Band drums, and I got really good at this one song on Expert. And I went to my buddy's house, and he had a kit, and I was like, it's probably the same thing. And then I played the song, and I was like, I guess I'm a drummer now.
It turns out it was the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, it did translate well.
Yeah.
It did translate well.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Jay can also sing though. Jay's a really good singer.
I dabble.
Yeah.
I had a sort of an unfair advantage. Oh, I guess maybe not unfair, but I was a dancer for a lot of my life too. So rhythm was very much ingrained in me. So that also translating to the drums, like the freedom of movement between limbs. That was all very like, I guess not natural because I learned it, but it came naturally because of that. So
Gotcha.
but yeah, so I just started doing that, and I was like, yeah, this is it.
Oh, yeah, a singer, a drummer, a dancer, and in Kids Bop.
Well, back in the day. Back in the day.
Yeah, y'all are keeping him behind the kit. Come on.
That's why he's making all the faces and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
he's super expressive.
He looks good back there.
Yeah, that's
he
why-
gives us a lot of energy from the back like that too.
Yeah,
when
yeah, really
pushes
carrying
it
it all the way
forward.
through.
You know, it's really fun when you're like sandwiched between the energy from the crowd and then JJ behind you.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a really good place to be.
I love
Yeah.
that. And y'all may get to see some of that energy at the end of this episode.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, now this next question, it's a fun one. It's one we ask early, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. And I'll have y'all answer one at a time for this.
Love it.
What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, I know that one for sure. Enema of the State by Blink-182.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain mine was Toxicity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Solid choice.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for yours.
If it's not a Kids Pop album, I'm going to be
not,
sorely disappointed.
As much as I would love for it to be, it actually was 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh, shit, dude,
that's great.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
G-Unit.
Yeah, with my own money, and it was such a personal accomplishment because not only did I save the money for it, but it had the parental advisory, and I convinced my mom to let me buy it.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was it. And
I
then,
feel that.
That lasted about a week, and then she
realized what she did.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
like-
pretty sure my copy of Toxicity was censored,
Yeah,
and
there
like
you
it's
go.
still to this day. Like when I hear "fuck the system," in my head I go, "The system, the system, the system."
Yeah,
It's just funny.
my
dude.
poor mother was ignorant. None of my albums were censored. She didn't get it. It was great for
yeah.
me. No,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
it. I got the Eminem show when I was like 12, and she was like,
snap,
"What are you listening to?"
I had a buddy who he would buy, like, he would get his parents to buy the censored versions of whatever he wanted, and then he would go out and buy the uncensored version and just put the CD in the case.
Oh, dude, that's sneaky.
Yeah.
Dude, that's clever.
She figured it out at
Yeah,
one point.
yeah,
You're not
I'd
going to get away
imagine.
with that for long.
You need headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just since you brought it up, my first album was definitely the Carter one.
Oh,
the
nice.
original
nice.
Carter.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Crazy.
I could still do the entire intro song just
Damn.
from
Dude,
memory.
yeah.
It's burned in there.
Oh, it's there forever, and it's so good. But we're not going to get into that. We're here to talk about y'all, not me. And we're going to kind of stay in the same vein. Now, go ahead and tell us about the first show that you ever went to with your own money, or that you decisively were like, I want to go see them. Got tickets, went and saw them.
So I can come back to the one with my own money. I got to think about that. But the first concert I bugged my parents to go to was Bob Dylan.
Okay.
'Cause I was a giant Bob Dylan guy. I learned not everything he ever wrote because that's insane. But there was a time when I was 14 where I could just play you 150 Bob Dylan songs by heart. I was obsessed. I dressed like the guy. I was so weird, dude. People in high school were like, what's
Well,
wrong
honestly,
with you?
he's still obsessed. Mostly when I hear him practicing by himself, he's
Yeah.
playing Dylan.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's
play
true,
what you
though.
know, right?
Right. Well, play what you
know.
love. You know,
Yeah.
that's more
Yeah.
important.
And there's a reason he writes good lyrics.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came
sure
first, luckily. By the time we were in a rock band, I had the lyric part, which was dope. But I saw Bob Dylan at the Santa Barbara Bowl. And I was easily the youngest person at the concert, and all the old people were like, "Oh my God, you love Bob Dylan!" And I was like, "Yeah, I do so much." But it was awesome. I still have a shirt I bought at that show. I still wear it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dope.
Hell yeah. And then what about
Yeah,
you two?
Well, when I was around, I think, middle school, early high school, we started going to a lot of local shows. So the first show I ever went to was like a Green Day show at a stadium.
Okay.
And,
I love how he leads with local show and then goes, then I saw Green Day?
No, but like once I saw that stadium gig, it was just like too much, you know what I'm saying? It's just like too far away, surrounded by too many people. And so we started going to these local shows where we would see like all these bands. I grew up in San Jose, so all these bands in San Jose.
I'm from Sunnyvale.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shit.
Hell yeah. But yeah, we used to go to San Jose Skate and see all the local shows.
I played a show there
Yeah,
before.
man.
Yep.
Hell
yep.
yeah.
With Pinup Productions.
Dude,
was always
right
putting them
on.
on. Yeah.
And we used to go to the Caravan all the time. You know, just
Okay.
little shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we used to like to spend our money
Did
on.
you ever watch a show at Nickel City?
Yeah, fuck
Yep,
yeah, dude.
yep.
Hell yeah. Dude,
That-
Nickel City was the spot,
Now,
man.
if you didn't play a show at Nickel City, did you even ever
Right?
play shows there? Like, it's not the same.
Yeah, dude.
Hell
That's
yeah.
awesome.
All right, and then
I think same, like, I can't remember the first, like, concert I actually paid money for, but same, like, bugged my mom to take me was 8th grade, and that was, like, right when I was getting into more of, like, because this is about when I started my drumming, so, you know, every drummer, well, maybe not every, but for me at least, you know, the appeal is the heaviness and hitting everything at once and just getting all the energy out, and so I got really obsessed with The Used for a long time.
Okay.
I really still do love them. I actually... Well, we're getting off topic. So that was the first concert. I was 8th grade, and I was like, Mom, birthday, please take me and the homies. And she was like, sure. Shout out to Mom.
yo, shout out to Mom.
Yo, shout out to Mom, because she was
Debbie,
standing
we
there the
love
whole
you.
time, like
Yeah,
very much
for real.
looking concerned and unaware of what was happening. But she facilitated the experience, and that was fucking cool. So
Since I shared the other one, my first show that I ever like wanted to go to, got tickets, went, was definitely Ozfest 2004 up in Seattle. And for my birthday, my mom took me because my dad wouldn't take me down in California with
That's
all my
rad.
friends.
and again, shout out moms.
Yeah, she was
Shout
just
out
like, get in, let's go. And I was like,
Right.
Mom, do you know what this is? She's like, no, it's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Yes.
And she was the homie the whole time.
Was she into
Dope.
it?
She's like, that's not her vibe at all, but she like didn't do anything to like step on it.
Sure,
You know what I mean?
nice.
Like, so she wasn't like getting down to everything, but she wasn't like, can we go yet? Like, you know what I mean? Like she was there
was
to
there
support
for
the
it.
homie.
Hell yeah.
And I just happened to be the homie that day. So,
Yeah.
so again, shout out moms.
Yeah.
Always appreciate it.
That's all you could
Awesome.
ask for.
All right, now let's go ahead and dive into y'all more as like the band, the artists. And we're going to get the easy one out of the way. How'd you pick the name?
Oh man. Oh yeah. So I was TAing for a history class. So I was in the 11th grade, but TAing for a 10th grade history class, and they were on the lesson for the Titans of Industry. And literally, I was just sitting there like zoning out because I was doing nothing. There was nothing to grade. So I was just basically watching the teacher teach, and he was going on about this, and just at some point I was like, that would be an awesome band name. And it stuck. It's stuck ever since. And people like it. People dig it. So we haven't had a reason to change it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Perfect. That's a great answer. It's always fun to hear like how people land on their names because it's so different. Every answer is always so
Yeah.
like stylized.
True.
And that one's easy. Like, a lot of people come up with band names, and it's either like they had to pick something or it evolved out of a bunch of situations. And like I literally just saw it in a book and was
Yep.
like, sick.
Yep.
So
Hey,
that was
Right there,
it.
that
Yeah.
one. If it works, it works.
Yeah.
Somebody else had highlighted it before and been like band name question mark.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a dick drawn over the picture, and I was like, yeah, I see it. I see it.
Hell yeah. Now, go ahead and tell us about your writing process. How do you guys go about putting together a song? And tell us specifically about how you start a track, like what are the beginning things that lead into it, and then what decides a song is done.
You know, the dope part about this band is it's literally different every time.
That's
so
true.
whatever idea that someone may have, whether it be musically, lyrically, it could even be just like a simple harmonic motion, and we want to write on that thing, we start writing on that thing. And generally it starts with one core part from one of the instruments, and then other things get added as we start to just jam it out and like feel what the song wants to be. It's not really like sit down and think about what notes go good together. It's
Yeah.
literally by feel and like, hey, I got this idea, let's jam on it. And then it leads to something dope.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
The thing that's crazy too is like like just the opposite ends of that too, right? Like there's times where someone will show up with said idea and we'll jam it out, and then all of a sudden it just flourishes like that, like just crazy, and we're like, bam, that's the thing, we're gonna keep doing that. And there's times when someone comes to it and we like jam on it and we're like, yeah, we're feeling it, but it's not happening right now, you know. And then it's just kind of like we'll just chill for a bit, but then all of a sudden, like a month later, like we'll be like, oh, you remember that thing we were trying to jam? And they're like, oh yeah, we sure jam. And then all of a sudden, and then like that was the time, and you're like, oh, what the fuck, like it's it's like really crazy. And like even more on Mitch's point, I think that's part of, at least personally, what I enjoy in terms of working with these two, is that it really is spontaneous, and there's no fear of the idea itself. There's no like, oh, this, you know, I never come to them with an idea being like, oh, well, maybe they'll think this is too out there, or like, you know, like I'm just like, hey, here it is, and they're always like, fuck it, let's give it a shot. And I'm like, that's my boys right there. Let's go. Let's do it. Like,
you gotta embrace the homies, right?
Just like exactly.
And just to extrapolate on what Jay said, or like support what Jay was saying, is when I conceptualized this group, which was like 5 or 6 years before these two were the set people. I had another drummer and bass player before them, actually, in LA, and then when we moved up here, it got rearranged. But the idea was that it was rock music, was because that's what I love, but total freedom inside of rock music. So the whole point of the band is like to never put rails on these guys, so they always have like total, like Jay was saying, like they're unafraid to be like, I would really love to play this in a song. It'll always like I feel like for Titans, like there's no such thing as like that doesn't really go with a Titans song. It's like we know when the idea is good but it's not working yet, and we'll wait and we'll play with it and we'll let it stay dead. And one day, you know, sometimes, you know, like Jay was saying, like we'll come back to it, or sometimes someone will write something else, and then all of a sudden that past idea has context, and now it's good because of where it's going between two things we had established.
Right.
And so like we're willing to wait that process out and allow the songs to grow, and we're not concerned at all with the idea that like, are we targeting anyone, or, you know, we need to have a certain structure, or like none of those sort of things you can get bogged down in when it comes to your creative expression and songwriting. The whole point of this band for me from the beginning, and then these two were all about it, was let's just throw all that out, and that'll be the ethos of the band. That'll be what we're, you know, selling to people, for lack of a better word.
I gotcha. Hell yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, let's just to touch on the second half, what decides a song is done?
Honestly, for me, it's the crowd. You know, once we play it on stage enough times and people are like really into it, and
true.
like you get that feedback that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Like that's really what it's all about, is how it comes across. So as much as we like it in this room, if it doesn't come across, it's not really finished.
Hell yeah.
I think that's a good answer, because I kind of, it's somewhat that, and then I kind of rely on these guys. I kind of like feel out when they seem really satisfied at the end of a playthrough. I'm like, okay, I think we're hitting a beginning, middle, and end somewhere in this piece.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's more like the like feeling that it is together, like with that whole concept of just like all these ideas that we throw out and aren't scared to throw out. Like a lot of the times too, like we'll have something that I can see is going to be good, but we need to be able to nail it first so that it is good. And so like that, I guess that is part of what you were saying, I suppose. Like once we get to the end of the playthrough, and once I personally feel like I'm like, that was fucking it. Like we did it that time. That's, I guess, to me personally, is I'm like, all right, that's done. Cut it, print it, send it off. Let's go. Like,
Yeah, and another great part about having people around that you can actually trust their perspective is that we have 3 different ways to view where's the end of the song. So if they mesh, then it's there.
Yeah.
Love that.
And that's kind of part of the creative process too, is things are never really done. You just have to say like, I think that's what we got.
Yep.
And like we, over the years, have developed a really good way of like knowing when the 3 of us are like, okay, I don't think anything else on top of this is going to be too much salt, you know?
Yeah. Oh, but I think even on the opposite end, like a harder lesson that we have learned that took time was not pushing it too far, learning when a song is just dead. And just being like, all right, we gave it its time, fuck it, move on to the next.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really interesting how your answer for writing a song is you just do what feels good, what sounds right, what y'all love. You don't write for anything or anyone or anything other than the feel of it. But then what decides a track is done is when the crowd does receive it positive as part of the answer. And that's a really cool perspective, because that is where it matters to the listener. So instead of writing something to be good to the listener first, you guys are writing true to yourselves and just adjusting it until it lands. And that is actually like a really healthy and really cool mindset. So I just kind of wanted to extrapolate that one into a statement there.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Now go ahead and because y'all are the first band I've ever interviewed, so I've never gotten to ask a question like this. Tell us about like practicing. Tell us about like your regimen, because y'all play shows a bunch, all of the time. And I mean, just from the potential song that might be at the end of this,
wink, 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 wink.
I mean, y'all were just dialed. Like I could, I've seen a billion bands play throughout my life. I can tell when people are well practiced for their songs, and y'all had it. Like every single moment, you guys were just locked in right from the get.
Thank you.
How often do you practice? What do you guys focus on when you do? Kind of run us through like a regular experience.
Cool. You want to start?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, over the years, things have been changing, and right now we're at a spot where we've got a really nice practice schedule dialed, where we meet 3 days every week.
Hell yeah.
So one of those days is running written tunes. One of those days is mostly writing workshop, breaking out ideas we've been working on, new ideas that we might have, resurfacing old ideas, just all sorts of writing workshopping. And then our third day is literally just meet, hang out, talk about the band, what business is pertinent for this week, what do we need to do before our next show, what do we need to do to get ready for a release, that type of stuff, So it's like pretty regimented and very regular.
Well, I like too that you guys have playing the stuff at the beginning, writing new stuff in the middle, and then just talking about it at the end. So that way there's no, like, you kind of taper away from the physical parts of it.
Totally.
And go into like the brain focus parts of it.
Yeah, for me, and I can get more into, this is different than your question, I can get more into the process of what I do to run the band every week too at some point. But for me, bands are a lot like farming, where you're in every
We're playing Stardew Valley again, Scott?
Yeah, we are. Mitch is on that Animal Farm grind.
Animal Crossing.
Scott's on that mixing up his references grind. That's good. Oh no, I lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry.
Say it.
I apologize.
You're saying it's like a farm.
We've been hanging out.
It's a farm.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like an animal farm. But the band is a lot like farming in that the metaphor is gonna take now. But like you're in every. No, it's okay. It's awesome. You're in every step of the process all the time, right? So practice is one aspect, and you could view practice like you're in the greenhouse or you're putting seeds in the ground, right? There's things that are brand new that are happening, and then we go out at the show, and that's us at the farmer's market selling the stuff. And so all of those things kind of circle through the week. So just kind of to touch on what you were saying before about changing the different things on different days, you have to move away from things to give them space and come back to them. And so and we've made all these mistakes. That's one of the cool parts about being in this group with these three guys for like 8 years. Is it 8 and a half?
Either
almost
it is
8,
or it's just about.
It's a long time.
You're saying it's been a while.
It's been a while. It has though. But we've done that where we've been like, oh, we got to write all this stuff, and then just tried to write 4 days a week and just burned out, you know? And so we've learned over time that it's like, okay, do things for a couple days, and if it went good, that's good. Let it be good, and we'll come back to it next week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, you got to play what you love, and you can't love everything all the time. You can't love anything all the time.
That's so true.
I love that.
Switch it up, you know?
Dude, that's
Hell yeah.
As dope as one, I love that metaphor. Like that works
animal
pretty
farm.
well. Yeah. That's great. But yeah, also the struggle, like, because you go through those mistakes and you learn and grow as a group, and so you know, it's just it's important to go through those mistakes, you know, like we've definitely settled into this sort of rhythm, but you know, everyone's human and you have your days and stuff. So I feel like that's part of it, you know, is like having practices that are harder, or times you show up to practice where maybe you don't want to be there, but like because you're with the people you're with, you're like, hey, it's cool, man. We're going to just do what we got to do. We're going to get through it, and we're still going to be together at the end, and we're going to just get it done. And so it's all really important.
I dig that. Also, it's cool that you guys get to practice 3 days a week.
That's
really. You know, that's like, I mean, that makes sense, especially given how much y'all play. Because, I mean, what do you guys have like even like an imaginary count of how many shows you played this year?
You know, I have a decent idea.
Yeah, I was like,
total booked for this year so far is like close to 100. We started in March, by the way. We took a 2-month hiatus at the beginning of the year to finish out our recording.
I think we had just started talking at that time too.
Yeah. And I was like, we're out until March, and then we went on tour and stuff. But we basically do 3 to 5 shows a month, every month. And have since March, and then in the summer, so in June and July, it's double that, and then August this year is going to be double that too, because we're going on tour at the end.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
it's like 2 gigs a weekend, basically, a straight through summer for 3 months.
Damn.
Dude, honestly, except this week, we've had 2 or 3 gigs every week for the last like 5 weeks.
Yeah, 5 or 6 weeks. Yeah,
it's been dope.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been busy, but it's been great.
That's incredible. And I mean, do y'all feel like that helps build your stamina for going on to like tours and things like that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Especially with voice.
Yeah.
You have to do 4 or 5 nights in a row, and then you get 2 nights off. And the stuff I do is a little aggressive sometimes. So
it's definitely got some energy behind it.
And so I had to learn how to do that. Like, I had to learn all the screaming techniques, even though I never scream, because I'm frying my voice with tone all the time. And so I had to learn how to do all that stuff to like, there's been so many moments in the journey with the band where I've stopped and been like, okay, I have to like either completely rework or completely learn this new skill set just for us to move forward at the level we need to move forward at. And so it happens all the time.
He's a man of many hats.
Yeah, way too many hats.
True.
Remember when I forgot to record the song?
It's fine. It's fine.
No kids bop.
No kids bop, but it's all right.
I just smiled at a camera.
It's great.
Well, you do that
You
so
were
well
born.
now.
Yeah, you were born to do it,
practicing.
my guy.
You didn't even know it.
Wait, what's the Bane line?
I was born into it. By the time you knew Kids Bop, I was already a man.
That for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, now, since you had kind of brought it up earlier, this is, I guess, more for you specifically, Scott. What are the other things you were talking about that you do as far as, like, maintaining and corralling the band in the ways that you do them, aside from being the front man?
So, he's our manager and our promoter and our
everything, a lot of stuff. So like it's
media manager.
It's a little scrambled. So I'll give you a breakdown, but kind of the greater picture of things is that we're a multimedia company. I mean, just to get totally corporate for everyone out there, it's like I'm a total rock star, guys. This is like my 4th beer tonight, right? I was just kidding.
In the last 10 minutes.
In the last 5 seconds.
Every time you've seen him drink one, it's a different one.
It's been 5. No. But like, this is what you got to do as a modern musician to do things your own way. We could look for other people who have these resources, but they have demands because they have the resources. And we don't want, like I said before, the ethos of this band is like, we don't want you to touch the creative. Like we just want it to be free expression. And so in order to make that happen, you got to do everything yourself until you're generating the money to pay people to do it for you. And this is just the reality. So we're basically,
I know.
I mean, you're doing the same thing. Yeah. And so, we're basically a multimedia company. I mean, these things are physical media, and then, we're making songs, we do social media stuff. And so every week I do booking. So I call venues and email venues and find gigs. Then I find bands to fill those gigs. I message everybody and create group chats for all that stuff. I do all the management nonsense for all those things. Then I find an artist or source an artist from one of the people involved and make sure the artwork's getting done. Sometimes I pay for all those things if they need to be paid for.
We like to pay our artists.
Yeah, we
you know
do.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
We share the love.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I think the whole we should all be paying each other to do this stuff. Like we got Mitch's girlfriend is very, very helpful. She went to college for camera and stuff, and she helps with a ton of stuff. She's shooting the music video we're doing tomorrow. And
Shout out Mitch's girlfriend.
Yeah, shout out to girlfriend. And so but we're paying her what she's worth. I'm all about that stuff. But so that's booking and shows. Make sure all that stuff's square, and then there's social media. So I'm compiling media, so filming, and then actually sifting through the raw media, editing videos, and then scheduling and posting those videos with all the words and hashtags 4 or 5 days a week. So I'm doing all that every week. And then we're working with a producer right now is helping us with the single, and we'll get into all that in a little bit. But I'm contacting anyone who's involved in the project. We're making an album right now, so the artists and all that stuff. We're also doing the physical media for the art. So these guys help me with all this stuff. But we're breaking out the green screen and photographing stuff. And so this week I finished booking the tour. So I contacted the artist and gave her all the information for the tour. We put up 5 videos on social media, so I've done some of that every day. We're filming a music video tomorrow, so I've been going through and messaging people, making sure we have everything we need. We just spent 3 hours at the set, setting up right before we drove back here.
Yeah.
And we're going back when we're done with this interview.
I was going to say, we're both going to be driving up at the same time.
Yes, we are.
We all.
Yes, yeah, all of us. And so, but that's a window. And then we have normally on Fridays and Saturdays, we have a gig. So there's 2 gigs inside of that schedule. And then we have 3 band practices. Sometimes we're recording, sometimes we're filming media, but whatever's going on at band practice, that's getting into the mix. If we're in the part of the process where I'm producing music, then I'm in here doing music production for part of that stuff. So you see it's a little all over the place, but that's the idea. So this is the farming metaphor, is all of those things are a part of what gets us to the stand with the shirts and the CDs and the live show. And every week I run through the boxes, and basically every morning, it's afternoon, I work night shift. I wake up in the afternoon, I get a cup of coffee, I write down everything I need to do that day, I do it all for the next 6-7 hours, and then I go to work. And that's every week, and it's awesome. It's really cool, and the hope and the goal, and I'm really confident in it. Honestly, I love our band. Is that we get to a point where I don't have to go to that dang day job, and I'm just doing this.
I feel that on a level too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's 100% the goal.
But for people who are out there who, maybe aren't, I've been wanting to be a professional musician, writing my own songs in one form or another since I was 15. I'm 29, so it's a while, right? So for people who maybe aren't 10 years into trying to be consistent with music, that's the kind of stuff you're looking at doing if you want to have complete creative freedom over your project. If you don't want complete creative freedom, or this is a real thing, you just happen to make a type of music or a type of art that is just much more commercially accepted, and the types of resources available will fit you better, you'll have a little bit of an easier go. But you're doing the exact same thing, right? We're all just showing up in a car with all our stuff and setting it up and going.
We're here, we're gonna do it.
And so but that's what an average week looks like for Titans right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild. I just want to top off with just personally the thankfulness, right? Clearly you all heard that spiel.
Yeah. We love Scott.
It's a lot, we all do this because we love it, and we put the hours in because we love it. But we all also are adults with responsibilities and have relationships and rent and day jobs and all of those things. And at least for me personally, that shit's a lot, trying to do both of those things. So this guy does both those things, and he does all of that also extra shit for us to be a band and push. So Bro, that's crazy.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Scott.
Shout out to Scott.
Wherever he is.
You know, if I could say just something weird, is we said a bunch of weird stuff right before the cameras rolled. But we got it all out of our system. But like, to me, like the band, this is a goofy metaphor, but to me the band, it's like, it's my baby. You know, I birthed this thing like 5-6 years before these two came on board. So they're, you know, they're step parents, you know, this silly metaphor, right? But like, if you have a child, it's your child. At the end of the day, if that thing needs to be fed, if that thing needs to go to daycare, if someone else isn't doing it and you want it done, you have to do it.
Yep.
And so what I love about these guys is over the years, as things have gotten more serious, they've taken on more and more responsibility. And now we're in a place where like we're communicating about what the next steps even look like, which is a really awesome place to be as a group. But that's how I feel about it, is like, if this is my baby and I'm going to get this thing where I want it, like, if something needs to get done, it needs to get done.
Exactly. You know? No, I definitely feel like on that one. And it's cool, like, just kind of break it down a little bit. Like, I always grew up in bands. Like, that's always been my dynamic. Even this is new for me. This is new in so many ways.
Awesome.
But like the band dynamic, when it hits, it just hits so different. Yeah. Like you said, like when you can trust somebody other than yourself with like this thing that you have invested 100% in, and you are like, I know that this will be great. I have a vision for this, but I have to trust in these other people. You can't just ask anybody.
Right.
So like that,
unless you have the money to tell them exactly what to do.
Exactly.
And then listen. Dude. Yeah, even that, you're right. Mitch is right. Yeah, but it'll help. I mean, you'll get a lot further.
But it's important. Like I was saying, this was when we were setting up. I believe I was talking with Jay about this. Like I haven't even been able to land in a new band yet, because when I made music with Corey, who was the guitarist. Shout out Corey.
Shout out. Hey, Corey. Yeah.
It worked so well. Like everything clicked, everything made sense. Like the dialogue was there, the concepts were there. Right. Same thing. We were able to talk 3-4 songs ahead of time just because we were like always doing it. And that is just something I had never known before, and I have not been able to even come close to finding since.
Yeah.
So that dynamic, especially in a group, it's such a powerful structure to have, and I think it shows. Like I said, in the song that may or may not be happening
right on.
at the end of this. There's definitely a presence in your music that
awesome.
breeds collaboratively.
Thank you.
Yeah, killer. I appreciate that.
It's funny because I was even gonna bring up the same conversation, like, with even everything you're saying, like mentioning the relationship of being in a band. Like, as opposed to just it is a band, understanding that it is a relationship between people, and like in this weird way, it's like it is a polyamorous relationship where you need to be able to intertwine and be able to effectively communicate and understand each other's feelings and figure out how you're going to work together to achieve said goals. Like it's so important beyond it just being like, oh yeah, we just do this, you know? Because even mentioning the struggle before with practices that are hard and all of those things, like that is part of what grows that relationship. And you go through those stumbles, and then you learn, you know, the people's triggers and what makes them upset, and like communication, all of those things, and that's what's gonna make it all good. So that's part of what's difficult when you have something like that and it's ripped away,
and then it's gone.
Because you know, you get in a great relationship and you're like, this is awesome, this is it. So just relating to all of that. You know?
Totally.
Yeah, and I, like, on that note, like, being in a band for so long with these guys, we've had the opportunity to do all those things. Like, I feel very confident in how solid we are as individuals with each other personally and as musicians playing together and as songwriters. I mean, it's like all the boxes. I feel very confident, like, we are a band. You know, in
you're like a real band.
You're like a real band.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, right.
But wait, you guys are 3 kids in a trench coat? Shit. I am in the wrong interview.
Just for all the people out there, we are indeed like a real band.
Or like a real band. Shout out to my friend who said that to me like a month ago.
Wow, you guys actually like make music?
Dude, no, she looked at me and she goes, I should come to a show sometime. I hear you guys are like a real band. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I like, you should put the face palm in the edit
Oh my
because
God,
yes,
yep.
but she doesn't know. It's okay. She's supportive. It's awesome.
I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of bands out there that are like,
kind of just okay.
yeah, well, not just kind of okay. Like you could tell that they're not necessarily putting themselves really into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
No, I hear you. I like, without like being negative on anybody else, but like the thing that I really love about our band, and this is kind of in the vein of what you're saying, is that we don't, and this isn't against the audience, like I want to make this clear before I say this, but we don't need the audience to love what's going on stage.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things with this band actually is when we're at a show that's not going that well, and I just turn around to JJ, like you were saying when we were playing, you know, that it's all, you're like, bro, you make all these faces, there's all this energy, and like Mitch is doing his thing and his hair is all, you know, and there's just vibes over here. I don't, you know, if for some reason the room is being a vampire, I can ignore the room, and not only is it still great for us, the people who care love it.
Yeah.
They're like, bro, you guys just, it was like you're in a bubble, like you didn't care. You know, there's this whole thing that like the genuineness of how much we enjoy what we're doing as musicians is always like right there.
Yeah.
And I love that. And like what Mitch is saying about like other people, maybe like something I notice a lot about other bands that are kind of where we are in our career is they get put down when the room isn't reacting to them. And it's just like, you know, there's a couple of things, but the biggest thing is like you got to love what you're playing enough that just doesn't matter. And you can just love what you're doing because you're there doing it.
And just to be clear, you know, I love it when people come out and try to play music, even if they're, you know, not the most talented or whatever. Anyone that wants to play live music and is making an effort to do that, that's fucking awesome. But you can just tell, like, there's some people that aren't necessarily putting themselves fully into it, and I think people can really pick up on that. I mean, which makes people inherently skeptical when you tell them that you're a musician.
Yeah,
they're like,
well, it's important to show up for anything you do.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
regardless of what it is, I think if you want to do something,
right,
and especially if it's something creative, like if you're gonna do something creative anyways, why wouldn't you do it 100%?
No,
because you only get out of it what you put into it.
Absolutely. Right. I just feel like, you know, a lot of people view something that you do on stage as like, oh, you have this big ego, or, you know. Yeah. And I don't know.
It's really not that for us. It's that it's more fun.
Yeah.
With people there, you know, like
totally.
if.
But like, I'm just saying, it makes people inherently skeptical when you tell them, oh, I like to get on the stage in front of people and do this thing. You're like, oh, okay.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, your friends, like, your friends are awesome when you're in a band.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, no, like, Jimmy, your friends are awesome.
Friends are pretty great.
But like, you know,
I've never met them, but they're great.
But people who know you should be skeptical that you want to be a rock star.
Absolutely.
That's totally healthy.
Sure.
Right? Like, my mom should not be like, this is sane as hell, bro. Like, I'm so glad you're doing this 100%. My mom is actually unbelievably supportive. We love you, Mom.
Shout out moms.
Yeah, shout out moms.
Moms.
But like, you know, your friends and stuff, when they hear you're in a band, are like, we got like these epic photos of us looking super swank, and I put like our tour dates over it, and I showed it to one of my buddies, and he was like, you look like such a dork, bro. And he like laughed at it. It's like, that's what it should be for the people that know you.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't, it shouldn't be like that. The people in your life shouldn't be like, oh my God, you know.
No, totally.
You need fans,
they
you know,
knew
for
who
that
you were
shit.
before you were that. You know what I mean? Like,
especially before I was a guy in my garage. Yeah.
Now, actually, since we're already kind of on the topic of it, we're going to lead into the next question.
Cool.
And as much as I want to hear everybody's individual answer, I'm kind of curious what the collective answer will be on this one.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
And this is one of those like recurring questions for sure. But what was either y'all's most favorite, or if you have too many favorites, the wildest show you ever performed at?
Oh.
And if there's a story for both, you could tell both.
Okay. So
I'm pretty sure the wildest is celebrity.
Yes, celebrity is wild.
It depends on what you mean by wild.
Just for me.
I mean, there's my birthday too.
There's all kinds of wild. There's like good wild. There's like crazy wild.
Yeah,
there's
so
like, why did we do that
ask
wild?
you, so we got to think about the best one. But in terms of wild, do you want like or do you want like party?
I guess it depends on how closely related to the most favorite one the Wild
favorite,
is.
right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
let's do like most epic cool show, and then maybe not one where like everything went to shit, but the wildest
Dude, that's
one.
gotta be our first show at IHOP.
Yeah, our first show at IHOP was bonkers.
Yeah,
That shit was
it was
wild,
awesome.
Yeah, so
bro.
there's this
Wait,
place.
add it.
that-
Add
No,
it.
no,
it's
no.
not-
Okay,
I was
okay.
like, hold on a second.
I'll
Hold on,
explain.
which IHOP?
I'll explain.
Not the place that tries to pass plastic pancakes as food.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, they do hamburgers now.
Allegedly.
God, allegedly. Shout out to Emery who taught me that joke.
Oh my God.
But there is we play down in Corvallis, Oregon all the time. We have like a little following out there. Some of those guys are coming up tomorrow for the
Oh,
music
hell
video.
yeah.
They're going to
Hell
be
yeah.
extras. Yeah, we love. Shout out to
gangsters,
Evan,
yes.
the Sauce Master, and shout out to everyone in Reptile Love Child. But down there. There are some house venues still for the college, and there was this one, and it's closed now. It got blown up, and it's gone. But it was called the Fuck IHOP House, and I'll tell you if you're interested in why. Nobody knows why.
Yeah, at all.
Well,
This
let's
house
hear it.
it got condemned like 3 months ago. It has been running as a college, basically like I don't know what you call it, not a trap house, but like. They've been squatting in it.
Yeah.
College kids have been squatting in it
Yeah.
more or less for like since the mid 70s. And it's been serving shows and parties for OSU
For a hot minute.
until this summer when our show got it closed down permanently.
yes.
No.
Yeah, and that's
got
not,
too
that's
hyped.
not the story we're going to tell.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Yeah. We didn't get to play that show. It got shut down while we were setting up. It was super brutal.
Yeah.
But the Fuck IHOP
first
house
time.
was this legendary spot, and they would get I don't know the exact numbers, but I can tell you what we made to give you an idea of how many people come through. So like in an evening, that house at its peak would do $2,000 on $7 a head.
Oh, damn.
So
Yeah.
we're talking
damn.
hundreds and hundreds and
Yeah.
hundreds of kids.
Damn.
And we played a set. We were opening for Billy and the Kids, who's family to us. They're a local act, and they're awesome. And we were opening for them, and it was like a wave.
It's crazy.
So we had a photographer, and she was getting like bumped,
Smashed up.
It like moved into our monitors and shit, and like
damn.
people were stepping on our pedal boards. Their beer got spilled on me. I
no.
ripped
Crazy.
the mic got hit, and it ripped the top of the SM50 or not SM the Shure 57 off, and so I was just yelling into this thing that had no dynamics now. So I was like finding. Now I'm doing it here. I'm gonna ruin this take, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, we gotta
It was-
start over
yeah.
now.
Animal House.
Run it back, guys.
Animal Farm. And so it was.
Wait, shout out to Animal House.
Shout out to
Real
Animal
place.
House.
Real place.
Toga. All right.
Oh, actually, funny enough, Animal House is a venue very similar to what you're talking
dope.
about
That's
up
awesome.
in Seattle.
Right on.
Yeah.
Sick. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know Animal House. It's awesome.
But please continue.
Oh yeah, but it was epic, and I mean we're talking like wall to wall kids, and they were jumping over each other, and people were getting knocked over, and
Yeah.
it was just like I'll definitely let these guys talk about it too, but like for me, like house shows represent like that freedom. So like the freedom we want as artists. Expressively, the audience at house shows have that freedom to give back to you. They're not confined by a door guy or like getting thrown out of a place or and not to be weird here, but like doing drugs. They don't have to worry about whatever drugs they're on. They can just be on the drugs. Like it creates this element of freedom where people really let go and inhibitions fall and egos fall and the crowd turns into this one thing and they are into it and you can be into it. And at our level, I think, and I don't know this because I haven't played for tens of thousands of people, but I think in huge venues that happens as well because you're in this sea of energy.
Yes.
But house shows for bands who play to 80 to 200 people, which is what we're doing, like that. Like that's where that happens. People let go, and they're in the like we've seen people fall through walls and like scaffolding and stuff, during our sets. And so
Actually,
you
my
guys can
favorite,
go.
I'm pretty sure I don't know if it was at IHOP House actually, but I know during one of those house shows in Corvallis, there was a kid, I saw him get knocked into the wall during a mosh, and he like hit his head, he grabbed his head and was like, ow, and then climbed out of a floor level window that was up at the top of the basement that we were playing in. And he just like crawled his way out to get air after knocking his head on the wall. It was hilarious, dude. And the best thing is he had dropped his beer. Someone picked up the half beer and was like, whose is this? He reached his hand through the window. And I was on stage trying not to lose my shit. Like, we're playing. And like, stay concentrated. Don't laugh. It was fucking hilarious.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, it was one of those houses, for sure.
Yeah, it is just like, the first word that comes to my head is just raw.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fucking...
Unhinged.
All of that.
Untethered.
And it's just so crazy because, like, I'm just the kind of guy who's just, like, trying to do my thing. Like, I'm just, like...
I'm just here to play drums and
I'm
be on
just here
Kid
to hit
Pop, you
things
guys.
out.
I don't
You
know
have
what to
no
tell
idea
you.
how real that is with this
No,
guy.
it's
That's
for real.
real.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm here, I'm doing it, and then that's it. So, like, when I'm playing, like, I'm expressive because I love doing it, but I'm, like, focusing, and I'm trying to just, like, make sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
And, occasionally I look up at these two clowns and I'm like, hey, we're vibing, that's tight. But then, like, shows like that, like, there's almost this opportunity where you have no other option but to, like, see what the fuck's happening because everyone's going crazy. And that's just, like,
and they're literally, like, 7 feet from you.
Yeah, I mean, with
too.
me and Mitch, like,
Right
at the show, I was talking about, like, literally, I mean, I had someone push the microphone into me while I was singing, and it broke the mic on my face.
Yep.
Like, that's, like, they stepped on my pedal and turned my pedal on, Like, that's how wild and close everybody was.
It's not supposed to be tremolo here.
You're like, wait a second.
Give you one of these, bro. Just boot you. But
No, but it's wild enough and unhinged enough to where it's like moments where you see it, like you dream it, but then there's moments where you see it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that was one of those moments. Like, you're just there and there's enough happening and there's enough energy being conjured because of what we are doing as a trio.
Yeah.
That, like, it's like you see the crowd and you see everyone going crazy, and then you see the people you're playing with and you're like, wow, this is what it is. And then you just, like, I think that's part of why it being so wild is why it's my favorite. Is it just, like, gives you that sliver of hope where you're like, dude, we're a real thing. We're like a real band.
Hold on.
All right, and then there's the other side of Wild where we played this fucking crazy bar that was like
Just to interrupt real quick. I love how you're like, no, there's the other side of Wild, and they both just went,
So it's this bar
real,
that's
dog.
halfway between city and country.
Okay.
So you get this really weird mix of, like, people that are just there to hear country music
Sure.
and people that are, like, just came from downtown Portland. And like, so there's this dude in the crowd getting real faded, enjoying himself, and he just starts yelling at Scott, play me something I can dance to. And this dude literally would not stop after every song, during every break. If there was, like, a little moment of silence in the song, he would say, play me a dance song. And go ahead. It got to the point where the dude, like, was trying to confront Scott while we're on stage.
He walks up. And I said, bro, is this what you do for fun? Is this what you do? You go out and you yell at bands. This is, like, entertainment for you. And he stopped and he went, you guys suck. and I went, bro, like, this is awesome. Like, you're having fun right now. Your friends must love this, bro. Oh, how many friends do you have? And when I asked him how many friends he had,
oh no,
he got sad.
Oh no,
I know. In hindsight, I mean, if he wasn't literally accosting me and about to get assaulted, I'd feel bad for him. But this was the best. This was the best of all
lesser
options.
Of two evils.
Yeah.
It really hurts to laugh at that dude, but fuck around, find out.
I mean,
and the worst part is you were trying to help.
Right. And he
you were
had
just trying to diffuse it any way you could.
This was like song 7 or 8 that he was doing this on. This wasn't like this. He just piped up. This dude was going for it. So he goes back to his seat and he sits down, and everyone that was sitting with him just gets up and fucking goes to another table, and he ended up leaving all pissed. As he left, he, like, had to walk through the dance floor because that was the exit. So I was like, buy a shirt, buddy, I love you. And, like, he asked for it though. Man, yeah, that is probably the the wildest moment on stage where I had to be like, holy shit, I'm about to start a riot. Like our music is about to start a riot. I have to do something.
It was the gig simulator.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, yeah. And also that night, this is less fun, but old dudes just hit on everybody's chick way too weird. And so we were like, we're never coming back to this fucking bar. They paid us like more than other bars, but like, sorry, no.
Just as a fun hypothetical, it would have been so fun if y'all had played something super dancey. Like we're like, hey, tell you what, we'll play you some dance moves if you dance right now, and just watched him just fucking die on the floor.
Dude, but do you want to know what's funny? Is we did. Like, so I didn't, like, I skipped over that part in the story, but before he came up, we were like, he yelled that, and I was like, you'll be able to dance to this song, and we played Blanky.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy did kind of dance for a second.
And how did that go?
You know, have you ever seen a fish, like, right when it gets out of the water? It's a lot like that, but vertical.
And literally, when we finished the song, he said, now play me something I can dance to.
Yeah, same thing.
Yikes. All right. This guy sound... Wherever you are, sir,
but
hope you're doing all right.
I hope you're dancing, honestly.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, you can dance if you want to.
Yeah, you can.
Because his friends already left him.
My man, Jimmy, my man. That's funny, bro.
That is great.
All right, let's move on to this next one because I am super excited about this question, and I'm sure y'all are as well.
Yes.
Tell us about your new single.
Golf shoes. Sorry.
G.I.
Hey, do it again. Do it again. I'm sorry.
Tell us about your new single, G.I. Johnny. That may or may not be playing at the end of this episode.
Yo. Yeah, so it's out now. It's not literally out now, but it's going to be out now.
By the time you're seeing this.
It's literally out right now.
Yes.
Right.
In this moment.
Currently.
You can listen to it. Wherever you listen to your music's online, you can find that song, which is G.I. Johnny.
G.I. Johnny.
And you can listen to that song.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
And it's pretty cool.
On all streaming
And it's
platforms.
great.
It's pretty cool, yeah. It's an homage to the best guy that exists on the whole planet.
That we know. So Johnny, we're gonna give it away. Yeah, it's fine. Johnny's a real person. So G.I. Johnny, the story is he is not from 10,000 BC.
Yeah. Because
because
We do know him.
That'd be wild.
Wait, what?
This is not only the first interview, this is the first time in history we're releasing someone from the Paleolithic.
Props for using the word Paleolithic. Proud of you.
That's a $10 word, bro. So G.I. Johnny, the song conceptually is like a riff. We have this homie named Johnny, and in college we called him Swedish Guy. And that was his name.
He's Swedish.
He's from Sweden.
He's definitely Swedish.
So I'll give some background here. I realize I'm skipping around. Me and JJ went to Musicians Institute after high school, and that was what we were doing in LA before we came up to Portland. And we met Johnny at school, and he was from Sweden, and so Jay met him first because they were in drum class together. He was a drummer, and he was like, "Oh, you got to meet this Swedish guy," and that just became the name. And so Mitch wrote this awesome riff. He wrote the bomb. Da-da-da-dum, which is exactly how it sounds. And
you nailed it.
Yeah,
you nailed it.
And I
thought he was playing it actually. That was crazy.
Yes, but I was thinking about how we don't. I do a lot of weird lyrics. We do a lot of weird stuff. We have weird forms in our songs, and I will do things that are folk Bob Dylan influenced, where I will not repeat lyrics. I'll just have a bunch of verses.
Yeah,
it's just bars, man.
Yeah. Seriously. And then, but we hadn't had a song where people could like yell something. And so this is part of how I decided on what the lyric was going to be is I thought the Swedish Guy thing was great, and I loved the idea of just a bunch of people yelling my homie's nickname, and they kind of don't know why.
I mean, I definitely may or may not have caught myself singing it.
Definitely.
You might have caught me singing it a couple of times. Yeah, it's an instant catchy track.
That's what's up. Yeah, we appreciate that. But like the kind of nifty thing is that like it's catchy, but it's not like I wanted to do something with a very cliche concept, which was us and the crowd are gonna yell with each other, but I wanted to do something that was just so outside of the norm for rock that it was just like people are like, what are we singing about right now, you know? And so
But it is an epic tale.
and so like the way that got turned into a song was I ended up coming up with this weird. I was reading a lot of Graham Hancock, if I can be really honest. I'm not even joking. We're giving it all away right here. But I was reading about all of his stuff about the flood, and I was just that stuff was in my head. That imagery, seriously. No. But the imagery of that while we were writing this song, it just happened to coincide, and I thought, like, wouldn't it be funny if Johnny was Noah, basically, and that's the lyric for the tune. But it's really an homage to my homie, to our homie, who is the original drummer for Titans of Industry.
That's what I was about to say. That's how fucking deep it goes back.
Yeah,
right?
there's some canonicism right here for sure.
For real. It's nutty. It's nutty.
And it's a little bit of a way to keep Sweden close to home.
Yep.
Yeah.
When it's
He's
all the
always
way.
with us.
How far away is Sweden?
Dude,
it's like
far.
at least 7 miles.
It's an 11-hour time difference.
Dude, far.
It's at least 11 hours away.
Oh my god.
No, it's a 26
well, 11
hour
hours
flight.
by like plane. Oh, there you go.
No, it's 11 hours clock.
Yeah, I know.
They're 11 hours off.
That's what I'm saying. At least 11 hours away.
Yeah.
11 hours clock.
It's 11 hours clock, baby. Fox Tango Roger.
Hell yeah. Well, again, y'all may or may not be able to check it out at the end of this episode. So definitely do that.
Yes.
But now let's move on to a slightly different focus segment. And this one's a lot of fun. We're going to have fun with this one.
I like fun.
These are all hypothetical questions.
Oh, wild.
And so feel free to answer them as a group, as individuals. There's kind of no rules on that one.
Cool.
But this first one is going to be, I think this will all be individuals for sure. If you had to work, or if you could work with any one artist who's currently alive.
Oh god.
And if it's a group, you have to pick an individual member.
Right.
Who would it be?
Wild.
See, like, I know my answer, but it's not like because of like music. Well, I do consider them a great musician, but I was gonna say it wouldn't be because I'd want to learn anything from them. I just admire them. You know
work
what
with
I
them.
mean?
It can be in any capacity.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I love my heavy music, and I have those roots, but I am also a soft boy at heart, and I love Jason Mraz. I love him so fucking much.
I can get behind
and
that.
I love just how dope he is. He's just positive and cool. And honestly, I don't even know, working with him would be great, but I just want to meet the guy. He just seems like a dope dude to smoke a doobie with and just fucking hang out, you know? Like,
Hell yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Ooh,
Do you have
who's
anyone?
next?
I'm struggling.
Well, the obvious one that comes to mind is I would love to know what it's like to play with Lur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like it's so front in my mind that I can't even think about anyone else who I would even answer.
Well, that's a great
But,
answer then.
yeah.
That's a great answer.
I'm gonna probably. This is probably not what these two are thinking. But
excited.
I've been listening to them a lot lately, and it's
Have you heard of a
just-
band called
it's-
Hanson?
Yeah. No, I actually think like this maybe wouldn't be the answer every day, but it's off the top of my head. I think writing with Post Malone would be really cool.
okay.
I think as a songwriter, as a lyricist,
yeah.
and a melody
Yeah.
man, I think sitting down and like, because I write folk music, like they were saying, if you walk by my room, I'm basically playing Bob Dylan type stuff all the time.
Yep.
I think that doing that with Post would be really cool. I think he's got a lot to offer in that area.
Dude,
yeah.
and after you write, you can play Magic.
I gotta get me those Lord of the Rings cards,
Yeah.
bro. Did you know how much the packs are? Are you into Magic at all?
These freaking guys.
I'm sorry.
I have time for more hobbies, but I'm a
doing
huge
a show.
nerd.
Yeah,
so
but dude,
I don't think you guys will. I don't think you're in bad company.
That's
that's
funny.
good.
I don't know why Post Malone reminded me of this, but I would love to do a song with Protege.
Yo,
That would be incredible.
That would.
Yo,
Yeah.
Protege, if you need a thumping ass bass line, hit me
this
up.
guy-
Dude.
this
Let's do a
guy- he
crossover.
has
I'm sure
it.
Protege watches this show
Yeah,
exclusively.
honestly,
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Listen.
And just because Mitch didn't say it, because I thought he was going to say it, because this is the one I thought Mitch was going to say, but I would like to too.
Wait a minute.
It's on camera.
Hold on. Yeah, no. I want to hear this
what
answer.
I just said.
I want to hear
It's
this
on
answer.
Camera. I know what I just said. Is Flatbush Zombies.
Oh,
Yo,
I
let's
think
go.
Flatbush
Let's
would
go.
be an epic
Flatbush.
crossover.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would
that
love
be-
to just solo.
And-
they just gave me a solo on a track. Holy fuck.
But out of the
Technically-
Flatbush Zombies, who would you have to choose?
Yeah,
'Cause it's
technically
one.
the question was just
One person. I know who I'm choosing.
I'm sure you do.
Oh man, who's the guy on the boat? He does his own thing.
Juice.
Sits on a boat. Juice.
Zombie Juice.
Yeah, I love Juice. I love his.
I was gonna say Andy Samberg, so I was way off. I was way off.
But I love his flow on Money Trees. Or not Money Trees. Oh, I suck, dude. Palm trees.
There you go.
Bro, it's
I was
all
just gonna
crossed
let- I was
over.
just gonna let you
Animal
have it.
farm.
At least
like,
have
y'all,
trees.
at least y'all know I'm not doing it on
he wasn't
purpose.
like,
You can see just the words.
Money farm.
Money farm. Animal trees. Let's go.
Oh no, dude.
Jeez.
That's hilarious. But yeah, no, hands down Eric Arc Elliott for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
All right, now this is again another fun hypothetical, and I'm curious if there will be a collective crossover.
Okay.
If you could perform anywhere in the world, anywhere on the planet, and they're like, you don't have to worry about electricity, you don't have to worry about crowd access,
Right.
you don't have to worry about like building stability, like none of that. Anywhere is a viable option as long as it's on the planet, because somebody said the moon and we defunct that because sound doesn't travel in space.
Yep.
But if it could be anywhere in the planet, where would it be?
You got one?
Oh, he's
No,
got one.
I don't have one. It's just as soon as he said that, I thought not in the ocean, inside the ocean.
Oh man.
But straight answer, I would love to play a show in Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii would
Okay.
be great.
So
Outside of the beach.
my dad's side of my family is all from Hawaii, and
nice.
it's so basically I grew up going to Hawaii a month out of the year. Every summer we would spend out there. So once we get to play out there, I'm gonna be fucking stoked.
Hell yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I got kind of two answers. I got like a real answer and then not, but like Red Rocks.
Oh,
Would be
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen enough videos there. I just watched
it's
the
incredible.
Bill Burr thing there.
It's incredible.
Yeah, but that would be an amazing venue. But like the real answer is like 150 people who really know and love our songs smashed into a small room. That would be like
Yep.
that's the shit, because the level of energy available for that, and like people like, because we've done it at house shows where people they haven't heard us before, but they're like, oh my God, we love what's going on stage.
Yep.
And the energy is there. But people, like when we've gone back to Corvallis and people there was one show where I was singing Beetlejuice and they were louder than me. And I had to like work to hear my monitor over the crowd.
Damn.
Yeah. And that was
Damn.
like, moments like that are like,
cool.
holy fuck,
yeah,
So if
cool.
I had a room full of people like that of any number that were like frothing to be at the show, like
Yeah.
that's my dream show.
I just want to touch on that real quick because when I was younger, I listened to fairly heavy music as well. That was my vibe, and I was a pretty big In Flames fan.
Oh, nice.
And there was a live album like a live DVD. It was
Crazy.
like really early on for me. I was like, I gotta get this, and I got this live DVD, and it was like they played this big show. It was during their the Friends album.
okay.
Sick.
I think it was Friends. Might have been, oh no, Soundtrack to Your Escape.
Oh, okay.
It was during
Okay.
that album. There we go. And they were playing the album in their entirety at this big ass venue. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. But then I was looking and I was like, wait, there's more than just the show that's on the cover. And they were touring the album.
Wild.
And so they played the full album at this giant, in like Astoria or something like that, or something, just a big ass venue. And then they did the full album at this really like intimate, it couldn't have been more than 100-person venue.
Oh, shit.
Like, I mean, like the camera was like nearly on the stage.
Yeah.
Like it was at that angle where like it was the only place a camera could be set
Right.
up.
Yeah.
And so it
That's
was
rad.
really like, it was just so powerful to see this big name, this big energy, this big presence just in this room because when you're a young musician, you think there's a point in time when you never play spaces like that.
Right,
you grow out of them.
Yeah.
And then like watching them do that, watching them present that in that space.
Yeah.
It made me realize that like the music and proximity is a whole different experience.
So different.
And kind of bred the like some of the essences of this show as a whole. So that
Awesome.
you brought that up. I had to touch on that, but
Yeah.
I don't want to keep running on me for much longer.
No, it's fine.
So Jay, go ahead and tell us what your answer is.
Yeah, I mean, I just like performing. Like, I feel like, at least in my mind, the way I'm processing the question is some sort of like...
Well, it could be anywhere.
No,
like,
of course.
Yeah,
but
like,
to me, that makes me think like places that you could never play, but you'd be able to now. Like, not even that just being a big venue, but like, in the ocean.
The
or
Super Bowl halftime
like
show.
something like that,
Not in the ocean.
Or not
Inside the
ocean.
There's a containment.
But...
Just like the old gypsy woman said.
I mean, it's more along with what Scott's saying. It's just like, being able to perform for people that want to see it. But if I had to pick a venue, I love the Gorge. So that would be really cool.
Yeah,
the Gorge
that's
really
cool.
sick.
So
Definitely
just
a solid
Outside.
place.
Just
I think
'cause-
that's universal
Yeah,
for 3
outside.
answers. Outside venue.
Well, just because these two guys got a crack at being real abstract with their answers, I would
You
love.
said inside the
I would.
ocean.
That was a humorous opening line
that's a
that we
joke
all got
from-
to enjoy
Okay.
entirely.
All right.
That's a
fair.
joke from something else, though.
Appreciate it.
What I would love to be able to do is just like play music inside someone else's head. So if I could just like beam music into your head as
Damn
I'm
it,
playing
that
it.
is on the...
It's a wild ass
Damn it,
answer, bro.
that's such a good answer.
It's coming. It's
Because
coming.
like, I'm gonna have to debunk it later, but nobody's ever hit that angle. So
I fucking
kudos
love
to you
it.
for the most abstract answer
Right
thus
on,
far.
right on.
It's wild.
Dude, I'm definitely good with abstraction.
I fucking love it too because I'd always say that like if I could have 3 wishes from a genie, like one of them would just be to like have like music playing like all the time, like theme music or whatever the fuck, just for whatever situation I was
Wait,
in. There would just be a
you not?
perfect. Well, no, like I do, but you know what I mean. Like it's there,
Literal.
Out
you know,
loud
yeah.
instead of in your
Literal.
head.
No, like in your head, but like
Oh.
it's like fucking in your head.
Again, it's... I don't know. I thought everybody had that. Does everybody not have that?
Don't look at me for backing up here.
Not in your head, but like
so it's like real, but
in
it's
your head?
more real.
Wait, kind of like how you guys are actually really a band
Yeah,
now?
right.
Oh my
Exactly. Yeah. But like,
It's
like,
not in your
imagine-
wait, hold on. It's not in your head. It's inside of your head.
So what I'm saying is like if Mitch was in my brain, that would be cool. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's fucking awesome.
Okay. We've got one more hypothetical question to go. Let's jump onto this one. And I kind of want you guys to collaboratively answer this one.
Sure.
I don't know how it's going to play off, but it's going to be
see.
fun.
Okay.
If you had to pick a completely different genre
Oh man.
than any of the genres you've done so far, and now as a band, if the band had to move to a completely different genre, what one do you all think it would move to?
Reggae?
what we think it would move to or
haven't
what we
done
would
that.
want it to move to.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's collectively do think and individually do want.
Okay.
Interesting.
So what do you think I mean, we're kind of doing it. We're kind of moving weirdly in the songwriting right now.
Well,
We're getting proggy.
I personally think if it naturally progressed to something that was completely outside of what we're doing,
Yeah.
which, I don't think anything is truly completely outside, but
Yeah.
if we were like super fishy Grateful Dead jam band.
Sure.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
Yeah.
leaning like
Agreed.
entirely into
could-
one aspect of what we do.
I could definitely
Agreed.
see us going in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Same.
I could see like proggy stuff.
Sure.
Like almost the opposite, where things get less improvisational and we're like more on this like the way Trainwreck Barbie is.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're doing either of those necessarily, but I could
See it
see
going
I could
that
see
way.
us doing that.
See, that's what's funny because that would be my want, like because of those roots. Like I would be welcoming to more of those ideas because
Okay.
it tickles that part of my brain and
Okay.
I'm about it. We actually just recently played a show where the house kid had a double pedal and I was like, I miss this. Like,
Nice.
Okay. Okay. So then we've got the collective answer as well as the individual answer.
Kind of jammy or proggy is the collective answer.
So then what would your individual answers be?
What would I want the band to go towards? Like,
and again, this is super hypothetical. So if your answer was Post Malone again.
That's so funny. No, sadly. I do love Post Malone, but not for us.
I figured out the vibrato, guys.
Just get
That's all we're doing now.
Get auto-tune on these tracks. But honestly, like the real answer is that we're already doing it. Like the 3 or 4 things that are being written right now are extensions of things like what was just being written, which is like the song that they're gonna hear, the G.I. Johnny. Potentially. And we're branching into kind of like the songs are taking shape in more like, I don't know if extreme is the right word, but we've touched, like on Sauce, songs were very like mishmashed almost, where there was a lot of like undulating themes that kept cycling.
Ooh, undulating, whereas another $10 word.
Yeah, these new tunes are kind of like we're allowing the tune to be this type of rock and roll or this type of rock and roll, but we're starting to do it in a way where it always sounds like Titans. Gotcha. And so we're sort of moving in the direction I'm really excited about. But
well, like, finally.
Seriously though. No, but if I had to like pick something that we're not playing in our playing that I would like be like, oh, it'd be super cool to have more of that. Honestly, like some dub stuff, some reggae-esque stuff, or some dance hall stuff. Like I thought
you meant dubstep for a second. I was like, whoa, that stuff is getting the wubs in here.
No, that stuff's extrapolated out of dance hall and dub, but like kind of that type of thing, like more dancey stuff.
Totally.
Because like we
don't get yelled at gigs anymore.
Yeah,
dude. Just for that guy.
Just for that guy.
Wherever he is, he won.
That's so funny. Kind of did, I guess.
I
don't know.
I really wish that we could go into like a loungy, super chill ass like standards. And just when that guy yells, "Hey, play something dancey," I can just go to like some 4/4, real slow swing. You know what I'm saying?
Just bust
not
out
like
some
4/4 swing that makes you want to flip people around. Just like the nice. Right, the type of shit that makes you want to sit down in a dark club and just like sip a whiskey.
Just think about things. Think deeply.
Yes.
Right. Don't be in your thoughts. Be inside of your thoughts.
Bro. Fantastic.
Bro. Holy crap.
Shout out Brendan Small.
Oh my goodness.
All right, y'all. Well, we have officially reached the wrap-up point.
Hey-o.
Sweet.
So go ahead and tell us about, things you have coming up shortly after what would be the release of the song that may be happening after this.
Sweet. So I'll give you all the rundown. So we are working towards our second record. It's called The Toy Box with an I. For Titans of Industry. And and we are planning on doing full campaigns for almost every song on the record. So the record has 13 or 14 songs. We're still fleshing it out. And we're going to do 11 to 12 single releases, 6 to 8 weeks apart. Every 6 to 8 weeks from August 15th, which is when this song will already be out because this is past August 15th. We're doing this, people. We're doing it. But we're going to be coming out in late October, mid-October with the next tune, and then about 6 weeks after that. And so y'all can look forward to media related to the songs, new songs, lyric videos, music videos, lots of behind-the-scene content, more stuff like this with awesome people like Jimmy.
Yeah.
But that's big picture. Other than that, we're playing tons of shows. We're making new T-shirts. We're making merch all the time. Come by the website, toytheband.com. We're Toy the Band on Instagram. All that stuff. We're live. We're rolling. It's always happening.
Hell yeah. And then how can people connect with you in the future? How can they see more of the things of you? Hit us with all the ads and the plugs for yourselves and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah. So www.toytheband.com. That's the website. Probably if you want it straight to the dome, our Instagram is at toytheband.com. Our toytheband.com. Our Instagram is at toytheband. God, I'm aging in real time, yo. I just like before the interview, I failed to turn my phone off correctly.
The camera doesn't quite show it properly, but Scott is actually 73 years old.
70,000 years.
10,000 years.
Paleolithic. Whatever
Yes,
we're getting Paleolithic, baby. All right, but www.toytheband.com, at toytheband everywhere, at toytheband at TikTok, at toytheband on Instagram, at toytheband on Facebook. We're dropping new songs basically every month starting in August. We're gonna have videos. We're already doing the social media. We're already doing the live band thing. We're already doing the shirts and the merch. You can buy our stuff through our website if you're not local to us. If not, come to a show, hang out.
They're only playing 1,000 of them.
We're pretty friendly too.
We're playing,
we like meeting people, so
yeah. And if you're watching this in California, we are gonna be on the road, literally like the day this comes out or the next day, the 23rd. That whole week, we are in Cali in Northern California. We're playing Pacifica, San Jose, Sacramento twice, and Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Where at in San Jose and Santa Cruz?
So Santa Cruz is the Blue Room, and I lied about San Jose.
Lagoon.
That was last tour. Yeah, it's a Blue Lagoon, but we're gonna be at the Golden Bear in Sacramento, and then we're gonna be at the Colonial Cafe in Sacramento, and we're at Winter's Tavern in Pacifica.
Yeah.
So if y'all are local, feel free to come out. We're probably on the road right now as you're watching this. So.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
to you guys.
Tees, yeah, Swag Northwest. This is local. We try to do all our stuff as local as possible, other than Sticker Mule because we're broke. But Swag Northwest did these tees, man, and they are amazing. This is our third print. The way these sauce shirts work, yeah, nailed it. That's a tongue twister, baby. They're limited run, so we do a color and then we do 60 something, and they're gone, and then we make a new color. So if you like this color, hit us up because it will never be back.
Hell yeah. All right, now I've got one last question for y'all, and it's a lot of fun. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Please do.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I still don't know where they are, and I'm never going to learn. But you do, and I trust you. And now for this final question. What is y'all's guilty pleasure song?
Oh, I already got mine down.
Yeah,
ready to
go ahead.
All right.
22 Taylor Swift.
All right, so I've never deleted an answer. No, I'm kidding.
That's bad, though. That's bad.
But listen, okay.
No, it's a proper guilty pleasure song.
It is.
Yeah, that's a great
is.
answer.
It is, okay? And I'm being vulnerable here.
Yeah.
No, it's catchy as shit, okay? The chorus is fucking catchy. You can't get it out of your head, and it's got the boom, ka-do-do, do-do, ka-do, do-do. It's classic. It's a classic bass drum rhythm. It's good, man.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
I've got a similar one.
Okay.
I fucking love Party in the USA.
That thing.
Miley Cyrus.
Banger.
Okay.
Banger. 10 out of 10.
Dope. So since you agree with that one, another one that tends to be controversial.
Follow me down this rabbit hole.
So there's this recording of Down in the River to Pray by a choral group called the King's Men, I think, something like that. But it's this men's choir from the UK, and it's really awesome.
I think I know this version you're talking about.
Most of my friends hate that shit.
I'm gonna need to hear this.
I assume you're a fan of
Oh brother,
Where Art Thou?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is super insider baseball. But when I first moved to Washington, I had sold a bunch of my gear and I had a very limited setup, and I needed to learn Ableton because I was no longer using Logic, and so I got an a cappella version of the main song from the movie. I can't remember.
Man of Constant Sorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got an a cappella
buddy.
version that a different group did and made an entire track off
That's
of it.
awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But no, that quality song.
Yes.
But I think I know the version you're
Dude,
talking
it's
about
so
too.
good.
It's so good.
And the soprano in that group looks amazingly silly as he's singing. And it's my favorite thing in the world.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, and to close it up, Scott.
All right, this is...
Give us something good.
Bro, I hope this is good.
Give us something
absolutely... This is really honest. This is from when I'm like 2 years old. This
I'm excited.
stayed with
I'm
me
excited.
through my whole life. Is the Linda Ronstadt song "Dreams to Dream," the Kathy Caldini version from Feifel Goes West, who is Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. So it's Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, who was Feifel's sister, singing a Linda Ronstadt song, and that shit slaps.
That's
and I put that on when I'm a little too stoned and a little too alone.
That's
all the time.
That's great.
All the time.
I mean,
That's funny.
That's good shit.
that might be one of the best answers.
Awesome.
Also,
it's literally,
if y'all haven't watched Fievel Goes West,
watch it.
What are you just Fievel?
Yeah.
Papa.
Yeah.
Fievel.
Bro, there's a train for mice attached to the real train. Are you kidding?
They thought about
Like,
these
what
things.
the fuck? They had
Made by
their
the
own
Raps of
platform.
Nim.
It's
Dude,
like Harry
that's
Potter.
It's like
They had their own platform, bro.
Oh my god. Platform 9 to 3 centimeters.
Wait, what's that in metric?
Oh my god. That is metric, right? Centimeters?
I don't know.
We need to call Swedish
Rad.
guy.
Yeah, we do. We need to call Chuck.
I just get him on the phone. No, I'm kidding. All right. Whew. So we have to do this a little bit less conventionally, y'all, because we actually do have a live song after this.
No way.
That's right. There's a live version of G.I. Johnny coming up, but I wasn't able to get in the room to close it up, so we're going to close it up proper. So this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. I'm Jimmy.
And we're Titans of
Titans.
Industry.
Say your names.
I'm Scott.
I'm JJ.
I'm Mitch.
And we're signing off, but stick around for the song.
All right, we're rolling. Hey, Jimmy's Jam Box, thank you for having us. We're Titans of Industry. This is G.I. Johnny. Long ago, 10,000 BC, there lived young Johnny, no older than 3, a child of first man, in ages of old. One day at play, he wandered far from his home. He ran to the withering heights of the highest of fields, a spirited voice he had heard of the wind. When he arrived at the summit, he found a golden oracle glad and light. She spoke, "My child, God's wrath has come now to devour this land, and all you know will be swept away. You will be left to live no man, and they will call you Swedish guy. Yes, they'll call you Swedish guy, and they will call you Swedish guy. Yes, they'll call you Swedish guy. Run home, Johnny, run. What will you do? Run home, Johnny, run. How will you survive? Johnny scrambled off to the peak as the lightning crashed from terrible skies. Under its wings, larger than life, come to engulf the realms of the earth. Johnny defeated there on a hill and met the boy at the age of 3. What will become of my life? He cried. What in God's name will happen to me? Hey, I'd like to introduce the band to you. Yeah, this is JJ Harris on the drums, Mitchell Yamashiro on the bass guitar, and I'm Scotty, baby. Jimmy, thank you for having us. Hey, this is G.I. Johnny, man. Stream it, download it, illegally download it, steal it, run it up a wall, I don't care. Whatever you want. Listen to that shit, baby. And remember to dance. Always remember to dance.
Yes, they called him Swedish
That's a wrap.
Yeah, that was it for sure.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.